A group of criminals kidnap the daughter of a millionaire. They hope to earn $50 million by rescuing her, although they will soon discover that they messed with the wrong girl. Abigail is a ballet student. It is night when she returns home, a huge mansion where there doesn't seem to be anyone. She goes up to her room while receiving a call from her father. Abigail talks to him until people with their faces covered appear out of nowhere and sedate her, rendering her unconscious. At that moment, they are alerted that someone is approaching. They quickly put the girl in a suitcase and walk towards the back exit when the alarms go off. The kidnappers are forced to run until they get out through the fence and leave in a van. Along the way, they check that the girl is okay and then blindfold her. They arrive at a house far from the city. There they are greeted by their boss, a man named Lambert. He orders them to take the girl to a room, lock her up, and look for a surveillance location. Later, everyone meets with him, who gives them some instructions. They will not be able to reveal their real names or personal stories, so if someone is captured, he will not be able to betray any of his companions. The work will last 24 hours, in which from that moment on they will fulfill the role of babysitters. Although the only one who will be able to be with the girl will be one of the two girls, the one with black hair. That way, the girl will only hear one voice. The woman asks who the girl belongs to which Lambert responds that it belongs to a billionaire who will make her 50 million poorer. He assures them that they are safe there, but to ensure that they cannot be tracked, he takes away their cell phones. Then they give temporary names to each one: Frank, Joey, Sammy, Peter, Dean, Rickles. Finally, he tells them that the kitchen and the bar are full so that they feel comfortable. Then he walks away, leaving them alone. The group wastes no time, and everyone except Joey enjoys a drink. Despite the rule of not revealing personal information, Dean tries to guess what each of them does, but he is wrong about everything. Joey, on the other hand, turns out to be more insightful and discovers that Frank used to be a detective. Peter suffered abuse in his childhood, so as he grew up, he strived to become stronger than others. Sammy, a hacker, is from a wealthy family and only does it for fun. Dean is the best driver in town, although unprofessional. However, Frank deduces that Joey was an addict due to her love of lollipops. She doesn't seem to like this, so she leaves to check on the girl. Upon entering the room, she sees that Abigail has regained consciousness. The girl is scared, and she mentions that the bandage is too tight. Joey covers her face before taking them off, and then adjusts her to the handcuffs so they don't hurt her. The girl, sobbing, asks if they will hurt her, to which Joey replies no, as long as she obeys her and her father pays her ransom. Abigail doesn't seem convinced, so Joey Pinky promises her. Abigail tells her father thought he wanted a child, but then he just lost interest. He doesn't care about me and he will not come to rescue me. At the end, when Joey is about to leave, she says, "I'm sorry about what's going to happen to you." When Joey returns to the group, Peter and Sammy are having a drinking game, Rickles is playing pool, and Dean is drinking alone. But Joey goes to talk to Frank to ask if he knows the name of Abigail's father. He replies that he doesn't, and Joey warns him that the girl hinted that he might be a particularly violent guy. With this doubt in his head, Frank decides to visit the girl, even though he should not have done so. Upon entering, he is taken aback to see the girl without the blindfold, so he covers his face while threatening her with a gun. The girl looks away as Frank demands to know who her father is. Abigail nervously mentions the name Christophe Lazar. Frank leaves the room very upset, saying that he is leaving and that they should split his share. The rest follow him and ask him what is happening. When Frank reveals who Abigail's father is, everyone is shocked except Sammy, who doesn't know what is happening. They explain to her that Lazar is an urban legend, an extremely dangerous man. The group discusses what they should do. Return the girl in the hope that they will forgive them, leave her there, and then make an anonymous call informing him where she is or end her life, since she has already seen Frank's face. After thinking for a moment, they decide to continue for the next 22 hours in hopes of taking home $7 million each. Rickles takes first watch, while Joey watches inside for exits. On her way, she comes across an old elevator and then a large library. Then she meets Rickles, who says he doesn't trust anyone but her, so let's watch each other's backs, to which Joey agrees. On the other hand, Sammy turns on the television in her room to pass the time when suddenly Dean appears behind her, giving her a good scare. Dean is drunk, and his attraction to Sammy makes him think they could have fun. However, all he receives are screams demanding that he get out of there. On the way out, Dean finds Peter at the bar sleeping soundly. Then he goes to a dark place and lights his lighter. There are paintings on the walls, and in one of them you can see a girl similar to Abigail. He then comes to the kitchen. He looks in the refrigerator for some food when the door behind it opens. Dean goes over to see who's there when a rat almost gives him a heart attack. Dean turns around when he hears the rat's high-pitched squeal, followed by complete silence. Suddenly, something or someone grabs his feet and pulls him. Dean screams and tries to hold on to the stands, but he can't. Sammy was watching television when she hears the screams. She goes out to see what's going on and finds Dean sitting at the table. She approaches him as his head separates from his body. Sammy's screams wake Peter up, and when he arrives, he finds Sammy vomiting and Peter's body decapitated. When the rest find them, they don't know what to believe. They assume it was an animal or the Lazar's hitman, Valdez. Rickles tells them a story where 3 of Lazar's top guy got pinched a few years ago. The FBI flipped them. Night before the trial, they were all holed up on the top floor of a hotel. A dozen agents in the next room and 2 on the door. The next day, the FBI enters the room and finds all the bodies are ripped apart. It is said that the Lazar's has a hitman named Valdez, and that he was the person who eliminated those men. Fearing that he has arrived for Abigail, everyone decides to go see that she is locked up. Seeing that this is the case, Rickles decides to leave. But when trying to leave through the same door that Lambert left, he discovers that it is closed. Peter tries to force it open but fails, and at that moment all the windows close. Rickles soon discovers that his gun is not where he left it, and when talking to Abigail, Joey discovers that Frank is Valdez, or at least that's what the girl tells her. Rickles meets with Joey and they tell each other what they discovered. They decide to look for an exit, but they barely take a few steps away when Joey sees Rickles standing still, completely still. She approaches and discovers his destroyed face covered in blood. Somehow, within seconds, he was killed. Joey comes down with the gun in her hand looking for Frank. When the 4 are reunited, she accuses him of being responsible for Dean and Rickles' deaths. Everyone seems confused, so Joey tells them what Abigail told her. Frank can't believe a girl is cheating on her, so he orders Peter to finish her off. So Peter goes up to Abigail's room and takes out his gun. But before he shoots, Joey stops him. Frank and Sammy arrive moments later. Both Frank, Peter, and Joey argue, and Sammy is the only one to see how little Abigail effortlessly removes the handcuffs. When the rest see her, the girl's teeth transform and become sharp. She jumps on Peter and prepares to bite him until Frank shoots her in the forehead and the girl falls to the ground. No one understands what is happening, especially when Abigail gets back up and wipes her forehead as if nothing had happened. The girl roars and Joey shoots her before Frank closes the door, locking her in. The 4 meet and discuss what to do. Sammy doesn't have the equipment to open the doors or windows. Furthermore, as impossible as it may seem, everyone agrees that the girl is not normal. So they start sharing everything they know about vampires, and Peter goes for pool cues to use them as stakes, while Sammy goes for garlic. Upon returning, Frank prepares to finish off Abigail. Everyone follows him, except Joey. She is not willing to risk her life against a vampire girl. Upon reaching the room she should be in, they discover that she has escaped. At that moment, music is heard coming from the floor above. The 3 arrive at a room where they discover Abigail dancing with Dean's decapitated body. Sammy is the first to confront her. The girl has more strength and knocks her down, taking the garlic out of her hand to smell it. Abigail gets angry and starts hitting her repeatedly. Frank tries to help, but she easily knocks him down. Peter manages to lift her up, but they both fall. He carries a crucifix that the girl uses to stab him several times. Frank manages to get up and tries to stab Abigail with the stake, but she stops him and stabs him in the leg. The 3 leave with cries of pain, while Abigail watches them and smiles. Joey was waiting for them, and she is not surprised to see them hurt. She removes the stake from Frank's leg and then proposes a new plan. Since none of their weapons were successful, She shows them the syringe with the sedative they used to get her out of this house. Joey is sure she wasn't pretending to sleep, as her breathing was slow and steady. So she proposes to split up, and when someone finds her, she must notify them on the radio so that Joey arrives with the syringe. No one can think of anything better, so everyone accepts. Frank, Joey, and Sammy try to find her, except Peter. He takes his time with him, enjoying what could be his last drink. Sammy reaches a dark hallway when some bats fly out. She gets scared and ends up falling into the pool, but she's not alone. Around her, there are dozens of decomposing bodies. Her screams are heard over the radio, and Joey rushes to look for her. However, it is Peter who meets Abigail. He runs as fast as he can, followed by the girl until a door hits him and he falls from the second level. Frank appears behind the door, so Abigail's attention focuses on him. She pushes him down the stairs and then suffocates him. However, before she gets it, Joey appears, but the girl sees her and throws her syringe behind some bars. Joey runs to get her back while Sammy lunges at the girl, who ends up biting her forearm. He then grabs Frank by her feet and starts levitating away from her until Peter appears and falls on top of her. The girl is strong, but Peter manages to pin her down long enough for Joey to retrieve the syringe from her and put it in her. Little by little, Abigail's struggles calm down until she falls asleep. Now the question is, what will happen to Sammy? Abigail is captured in the elevator that Joey found earlier. She's interrogated, and they discover that she was the one who took them there, with the help of Lambert, who works for her. But they were not chosen at random. Each and every one of them affected her father's business in some way, so her intention is to get revenge and have fun at the same time. However, Joey deduces that not only is it that, but that Abigail's father actually did lose interest in her, and that she is partly doing all this in the hope that he will love her again. Abigail offers to leave one of them in exchange for getting her out. Peter believes it and is willing to try, but only manages to get shot by Joey. In the end, they both go up to heal him. Sammy isn't willing to stay, so she goes with them, leaving Frank to watch over her. Left alone, Abigail again proposes open the door, and I will let you keep all your blood. Frank thinks he's smarter, so he makes her tell him how to get out before releasing her. Abigail tells him that there is a secret door in the bookstore, and that on the right shelf there is a book called And There Were None Left, which he opens. Knowing this, Frank prepares to leave and leave the girl locked up. But the girl only smiles, because this is all part of her game, and getting caught is part of it. With ease, she kicks down the door and lunges at Frank. She is about to finish him off when Joey arrives and she sees them, but she also sees sunlight coming from a boarded-up window. She manages to open a small part, just enough for the sun's rays to touch Abigail's hand, which explodes. As the girl screams, Frank and Joey watch as her hand begins to regenerate and then leaves. They both reach the bookstore with the window letting in the sunlight. Due to her bite, Sammy slowly brings her hand closer until she discovers that nothing is wrong. On the other hand, Frank searches the right shelf until he finds the book that Abigail had mentioned, although he is disappointed to see that nothing happens when he removes it. They are apparently trapped, with Abigail waiting for nightfall to end her game. However, it occurs to Sammy that with a power source, she could cause a short circuit, so the doors and windows would open. Frank is unwilling to go with her, fearing that she could become a vampire at any moment. So Peter, who has taken a liking to her, decides to accompany her, while Frank and Joey look for her on her side. As they walk, Sammy begins to hear Abigail's voice in her head, as she sees how the bite on her arm fades, and suddenly Sammy stops being her and is controlled by Abigail. Peter does not realize it until it is too late and is attacked by the vampire until he dies of bleeding. Over the radio, Joey and Frank hear Sammy's voice calling for help. They rush to look for her until they find her on her back, crouching over Peter's body. From her behavior, Joey soon realizes that something isn't right, and when Sammy turns around, her suspicions are confirmed. She and Frank run until they return to the bookstore, followed by the vampire. Then Joey sees a tray and uses it to reflect sunlight on Sammy's body, who explodes at that very moment. Suddenly, they see a secret door open. They go in to investigate and end up meeting Lambert, who also turns out to be a vampire. He grabs Joey's neck as he explains to Frank that he brought him there to offer him a deal. Abigail transformed him 2 years ago to gather enemies of her father so she could have fun with them. But Lambert has had enough and needs Frank's help to eliminate Abigail and her father and keep all of her business. The reason he offers it to Frank and not someone else is because they both work and have known each other for a long time. Frank's ambition wins out, and he agrees to be converted by Lambert on the condition that he not control him. Lambert slams Joey against the wall and then bites Frank and lets him drink some of her blood. Frank soon transforms, but instead of finishing off Joey, he puts a stake through Lambert's back, staining the entire place with his blood. Next on her list is Joey, but just then, Abigail arrives. The girl is unimpressed to see Frank turned into a vampire, and she runs towards him to eliminate him. However, he catches her and bites her on the neck, sucking her blood from her. Joey takes advantage of the moment and opens the doors and windows where it can be seen that it is getting dark. She then finds her cell phone and leaves from there. She looks for a way out, but she finds the door closed, and no matter how hard she tries, she can't open it. Aware that she has little time left, she decides to leave a message for her son whom she abandoned, saying that she loves him and always will. Frank soon appears, grabs Joey, and knocks open the door. He starts throwing her over and over, but when he drops her from the second level, Abigail appears and catches her in her arms. She claims to be too weak and needs her help to eliminate him. So she joins forces with her, and although Frank offers battle and even bites Joey, they both end up stabbing him with a stake and making him explode. Covered in blood, Abigail thanks Joey for her help. She is worried that Frank bit her, but Abigail assures her that she will be fine now that he is gone. Joey finally prepares to leave when a man appears behind her. It turns out to be Lazar, Abigail's father. He prepares to finish off Joey, if not for Abigail stopping him, saying that thanks to her, she is still alive. Hearing this, Lazar allows Joey to leave, and she does so. It is night when she leaves the house, and upon entering the van, she enjoys a sweet. We have reached the end of this video. For my part, this has been all. I hope you liked the video, and that you share it with someone who you think might like it. If you find the content interesting, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell icon. See you soon.